Well, hey there, this is Jerry with What's Broke Today, and getting started on another episode. And today I'm putting the fan clutch on a 2006 Chevrolet truck with the Duramax diesel that he took it someplace else because that air conditioner wasn't working right, and the guy told him it needed a clutch. And I think the guy's a foreign car mechanic mainly, and he had time to check the AC, but then told him it'd be 2 or 3 weeks where he could put a clutch on it. So he didn't want to wait, so he brought it to me. Don't know for sure if the clutch is bad. Now the engine's cold right now, and it seems okay, but I know when he dropped it off, it really wasn't pulling a lot of air when it was hot. So I got a feeling that they might be on the right track. So I'm gonna set that there and let me grab a couple tools and let's start ripping her apart. Because yeah, I was gonna figure swap out the clutch, and while I got all this stuff apart, I was actually going to look in between the radiator and the intercooler and the condenser, just to make sure there wasn't a bunch of junk in there that could be restricting airflow. Which, that's what it was. He'd come to a stoplight, or some place where he had to stop, and it would stop cooling. Or that's what he said. So I don't know, since he brought me apart and said install it, I wasn't going to try and re-diagnose it. I figure, sometimes you just do what the customer wants, even if you don't always agree. Because the main thing is I made sure he understood that, if it was something else wrong with it and this didn't fix it, that he couldn't blame me. And in between the intercooler and the condenser, I see nothing. The only thing always that I wonder is, there are no seals. There's about a 1/2 to 5/8 inch gap between the two, and there aren't any kind of seals to keep it from pulling air around the condenser and miss it altogether. But it is a lot of condenser there, and when I get some more of this apart, I'll probably take another light and see if I can see light through there. So yeah, it looks like we got a 13, and then that's probably looks like an 8. So well, let me pull that off there. Probably can move it up here out of the way. It looks like we got some clips down there at the bottom. Here we have an AC line I can pull out. And then that's probably a transmission controller because it says Allison on it. Set those kind of back out of the way, so hopefully I don't knock those off. Okay. Well, that's got something kind of oily on it. But I got that one out. Trying not to drop that little retainer on this side, because, well, I could probably take the air cleaner loose and get in and put it back in. Okay, it come out. Okay, because I don't want to lose that. Don't totally understand the purpose of, I mean, it does have this goopy seal thing, so it makes it, should make it suck air really well. One of the bolts that holds it in on the bottom over there is gone. So let's see if I can get down there with my ratchet and alright, so okay, there's our other bolt. I need to find one more because I need to take care of the one that's missing on the other side. Okay. Take a small break and get some other tools ready so we can get that clutch off there. Alright, well, I got my wrench for loosening the fan clutch. I get it on there and I'm going to take and whack it with my dead blow. Because looking at the new clutch, it looks like it's a righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I wonder if I can get down in there with a screwdriver and hold that. Well, that's something that's got slots in it. It looks like I ought to be able to make a spanner wrench for it. Alright, it broke free. Throw the screwdriver back. Yeah, because on this, the fan clutch isn't on the water pump like it is on most everything else. And once you get them broke free, most of the time they spin off real easy. Just got to watch when you get to the very end so don't fall off and crack the radiator. Ting! There's my wrench. Okay, that drop loose. Oh, there it all comes out. Whew. Now all we gotta do is just, which I think it's 13. I think I'll get my impact and we'll swap the fan to the new clutch. And before I put this back together, I'm going to clean all the gravel dust out of here that's inside the... I'm going to take our new clutch and set it up there. We can line that up. And we can turn this gun down because I don't want to overdo these. All right. Number 2. Well, there's a lot of dirt that just from here I can see. So I'm going to get the garden hose ready and we're going to back flush the radiator, the condenser, and I'll try to do the condenser because can't really get it loose, but maybe I can shoot all the way through. Okay. Try and not take too much of a bath with this thing, but this radiator must be bolted at the bottom too. Alright, well I think I'm going to shut the camera off because I'm going to take a bath doing that. Alright, well a little update on where we're at with our Duramax. I got the coolant draining because when I was trying to wash the radiator, probably the top third of it, water flowed good. The middle section, not as good. But the bottom third, I wasn't getting hardly any water flow, and trying to get a good angle to clean was difficult. Got my pan underneath with the coolant draining, and if you've ever drained one of these before, or if you haven't, you know it don't have a drain plug, so got to pull that lower hose loose that's up there. And what I did was I popped the retainer clip off and then just worked the hose back far enough for it to leak and drain somewhat slow without making a mess, because it might be kind of hard to tell, but here's where I was at yesterday trying to wash that out. And yeah, it looks like gravel dust I'm washing out, so I bet you some of it's stuck in there. And it's probably about like concrete. So I'm going to pull the radiator out, attempt to wash it, and if that works good, we'll put it back in. If not, I'll call him and tell him we got to put a new radiator in it. Right, well, just about got radiator to ready to come out, but like the top bolt and the radiator up here and the top one here, easy to get to. The bottom one over there, I can get through the wheel well. The only one that's a pain was the one that's down here by the battery. So I took the battery out. I took the little lug out, so that was less likely to short. And then I took my long ratchet, 13 millimeter, and was able to reach down through here, use my finger to push up the socket up against the bolt, and then then I had to ratchet it the whole way out because I couldn't get my fingers in there to turn it. So that's how I got that one out. Of course, I unhooked the upper radiator hose, and that's just a pair of big pliers. The only thing that's a pain, that is probably going to be a pain when I go back together, these little clips that hold the transmission cooler lines in. The top one, no big deal because it's right here. The bottom one, that might be a challenge when I go back together. Don't know yet. Once I get all that stuff up, and I forgot one thing, this little hose that goes from the top of the radiator to the overflow bottle. Let me get my boards over here, because even though I'm tall, sometimes still not tall enough. So let's see how this comes. I'm going to dislodge that span shroud from the radiator, so I don't want to. Oh. Okay. I just want to make sure that if I'm lifting, I'm not lifting, because I don't know if it's supposed to come out with the radiator or not. I might have to pull this intercooler line off, because it looks like, yeah, between the transmission cooler lines and that intercooler line, it's probably going to catch on that lower fitting on the radiator. Once I can figure out some way to pull these things up and out of the way. Well, since we last spoke, I pulled clips out and drop down this inner fender, so I get in here and get the clip off of here for the intercooler, and then kind of pulled that back out of the way, because with that inner fender gone, it gave it more room. And then to get it clear off, I had to actually loosen one of the band clamps, slide it down, and then these pieces would come off. And other than the wire for the block heater, just about got everything, I think, moved out of the way. Well, I got them both out. I did end up pulling them out separate just because of the weight, but I probably would have had to have anyway, because like the radiator, when it come out, I had to come up, take the driver's side, lift it up, and then kind of come over and up and out. And the intercooler was exactly opposite. I had to kind of go to the passenger side, lift it up, get it clear of that other, which is probably the engine computer, and then get it around that AC line, and then up and out. It come out just fine. And I was shining my flashlight through, and intercooler needs a little cleaning, but it's not bad. But my radiator, when I shine my light, like I say, up here, probably down to about here, maybe halfway, it's not bad. But once I get on farther down here, I got sections in through, well, it's kind of like in that pattern, kind of like a half moon, where I can't hardly see any light through it. So I'm going to load these up on the trailer take them out back, wash them out, and then the AC condenser, I'm just going to blow it out with air because it looks really good. But I'm going to end up soaping this down, and then I'll wash it from both sides and get her all cleaned up, and same thing with the intercooler, and then when we get done, I'll put them back in. Okay, well, I got everything cleaned. Put our intercooler in, like I said, I'm going to do opposite of coming out. I drop the left side down in there and clear the power steering line thing. And then get over far enough that I can clear the AC line. And I can got to clear the cord for the block heater. And get that down in and down in its pockets. Now I'll get these two started. I'm going to try and drop the radiator in and hook up these and then put the shroud in. That may or that may not work. But the funny thing is the radiator probably weighs at least twice as much as a turbo intercooler. So, and then this will come in and down, and actually going in easier than it came out. Okay, man, but on the other hand, if I ever did this job again, I know it'd go a lot smoother because I know what I have to do now as far as assembly and disassembly. I was thinking that what I'd really want to do is get these cooler lines put back in before I put that plastic in. And because this lip's got to go under the radiator. He had those cooler lines. I need to unhook them so I can, because they interfere with me pushing that down and out. And maybe I just lift that up. All right. So definitely we probably, yeah, that shroud does probably need to go in first. I can get all my radiator bolts started. I can tighten up 3 of these with this. Oh, I think I had inadvertently stopped recording when I thought I started recording, so probably missed out on me putting the fan down in its hole. And when I thought I was doing one thing, I did another. So, but what I'm doing now is getting these bolts back in this plastic, I don't know, fan surround, whatever the heck it's supposed to be. That yeah, I think that's what's wrong. I think that ear's bent out. Alright, I got all these little bolts started, and I was going to tighten them up. But having trouble getting my little ratchet in there, so I just went and got a 13mm stubby ratchet wrench. I get the upper half of the fan shroud and drop it down in there. Okay, there were two of these on this side. Line that up, that down through, start that, and over here I only had one, but with all this other stuff out of the way, that's super easy to get to. So I can pull this forward and start that. Okay. I'll bring this over and tells you somebody's probably been into this when I'm sure that screw that I'm putting in there is not what was originally in there. Because I don't think GM used self-drilling, self-tapping screws with rubber washers to put that on. And my big channel locks. That's on there, so that's both our radiator hoses. And next thing I think I'll do is put our intercooler thing back on. And I done put the snap clips back in, so there's part two. Okay. Take this and Okay. I think I'm going to get down in the fender. I'm going to try and get that other intercooler hose on, and then put the inner splash shield in on the other side, and we're almost done. Alright, well, I am on the downhill slide that I got the intercooler pipe back on the intercooler at the bottom here and tightened up, the battery back in, the little support strap, put the coolant hose back on the top of the radiator before I forgot. Got the inner fender put back together on the passenger side. Was going to put this piece of plastic back up here. And then on top of our neck here is our bleeder plug. So I'm just going to take it out. And check and make sure you don't lose the gasket on it. I got my funnel, I'm going to stick my zip tie down in there to allow it to breathe. And he brought me 7 gallons of ready-to-use pressed stone, so I'm going to start pouring that in. I'm going to pour it in till it starts coming out this hole on top of the engine. Okay, so I poured coolant in it until it come out that screw, and then I put it back in, which on this one's kind of a pain because the oil fills in the way. And then I got it about an inch above the seam in the bottle. I was going to take my funnel out and my zip tie. I'm going to go ahead and put the cap on, because sometimes on these, till you get all the air out, if you rev them up and then let off the throttle, if there's much air in it, this will come up and just be like a geyser. So I'm going to fire it up. And I did get some coolant on the serpentine belt, so it might squeak, because I let a lot of coolant come out of that screw. I took the screw out before I could get it back in. So I'm just going to let it run and warm up, get up to operating temperature, make sure it's circulating, and then shut her down and top her off. Alright, well, I got her all warmed up. After the thermostat opened, it did burp, and I had to add some coolant, but the only leaks I saw underneath were where I spilled antifreeze when I was filling her back up. I overflowed the tank and it everywhere. So I rinsed that off. Now I do have our airflow coming through the radiator is a lot better than it was. But I think you still got a problem with the air conditioner, because when you touch the low side lines out here when it's running and the AC's on, even the high side line where the orifice tube's at, it's not as cold as it should be. So I got to talk with him to make sure he wants me to look at it, since he's already paid someone else to look at that. But it got his fan clutch on, radiator intercooler condenser cleaned out, new coolant, everything back together. So hey, I do appreciate you watching this episode of What's Broke Today. That always appreciate those thumbs up for the likes. Thanks for all those comments, and hey, if you're not a subscriber, better join on in, because no telling what else you're going to see on What's Broke Today. Thank you.